rate. Why is it that all of a sudden we started seeing, outbreaks of crimes? People are stealing, people are with knives. Gambia is unsafe, and all the pictures and videos we've been seeing are all youths. So what is going on with our youths? We need to really look at the situation from all direction, not only once, and just started pointing finger on one direction. Why is this happening now? Who are to take the responsibility? How can we mitigate the situation, or how can we stop this happening? Because we haven't been seeing this. Gambia is unsafe nowadays. I mean, people are breaking into people's house out of desperation. Is it that our system has failed to the point that people cannot even sustain living, and that they had to really go after others? So these are issues that we need to address, and why are the youths being the center of this, not other groups? So I will let Alison to actually decipher this particular issue, and we will get some questions and so forth. Welcome, Alice. Sam is joining.
Thank you, Mr. Sawane. In fact, it's a very sensitive topic, and I myself am not happy at all about the pictures going around, videos going around. That is just showing a poor certificate. I used to say that the Gambia government did something,
Welcome.
maybe something wrong, maybe even without this, without knowing. If you can remember, Mr. Sohane, for 2 years back, I don't know, I always used to say that in every country, the youths are the most important group. You should not play with them. You know, even in the West, you can see how respectful they are to the youths because they know they are the future. So you have to prepare them. If you don't prepare them, you have no leader in the future. I know that these are things we don't focus too much in Africa, especially the leader sitting there. But it's very important because being a youth stage is a very sensitive stage because that's the stage where somebody is always focusing in his future. What is it going to be for me? What am I going to be? You know, these are the topics at that age where people are more busy with. I think that was one of the things I even left Gambia very early, because I tried to work for Jawara and the salaries were just bad. So I was just trying to say, should this be my future? So I had to leave there, but with a reason, after working for 3 years. So when we come back to the youths, I mean, the whole picture and the whole drama, if you look at it, people just point finger to the youths. The youths are the victims. They are just victims of a failure, I would say. They are victims about what you just said. Many of them want to do something for their parents, and they cannot at that age. So it's a sign of frustration. And this thing, the whole thing, I can only make a package and say we are responsible for everything. Not only the youths, every Gambian is responsible for what is going on. Whether you are a president, or you are in a diaspora, or you are at home, or a family member, we are all collective responsible for what is going on. Because even if you say the government didn't, who voted the government there? So then we are not out of it. You understand? So the government I can blame because they failed to take part. They failed to show the youth what is important. They failed to give the youth the tools they need at that age to prosper. or to go forward or to have an easy life. I mean, without problems, you know. So fail the youths that they don't practice any skill, you know. Fail the youths that they even have to risk their lives going to the west and after risking their life sent back home. And there's a failure that the government should have prepared something for these people, these returnees, so that when they come, they can start something. Even the ones going to jail, when they come out, they should be properly trained and bring them easily to the society again, giving them skills so that they can start right away from there. But when they are captured, tortured, brought to jail, they come out with only their marks and nothing more. So that person to start to join this society again, one, he's not given the chance because everybody is looking at him already. You are a criminal. That alone doesn't make the way easy, you know. So they have to fight again. So if they don't have any chance, then they go back to their style again. Then they'll be cut and then sent to prison again. So that doesn't help any youth, you know. And what I'm seeing for pictures, they're heartbreaking, you know, heartbreaking because when I just think the youths, they are just the victims. It's nice, people jubilate and so, because what they are doing is bad. And it's nice that people take them, they don't kill them, they just beat them to set examples that they should not do it. And the others who want to do it should know that that is the result. But these are laws taken in their hands, which is very dangerous for a country. Because I cannot say people should not do that because everybody is trying to protect his own properties. And when they don't have any help from the government side, they'll try to also help themselves. You know, but not in this way. That's why I suggested community watch. But community watch, they can sometimes do a better job even than the police because they reporting, not holding and torturing, taking the law in your hand. People should not misunderstand that. Community watch, everybody is watching. If you see anything illegal, criminal, you call the police and help them. Give them signs, be how to call it. You give them names,
And alerts, yeah.
alerts, witnesses, you know, things like that. Because even the West do that, and you get incentives for that. That is community work. Does it mean that you have to be your own police? You go and hold the person and beat him. That is, the people should not misunderstand that. You understand? That is job of the government, and the law is there, and the law should be first. The law should be respected. We cannot take the law just in our hands just because the government didn't do anything. That is dangerous in a country. Because if we should do that, then the danger of a civil war is very, very near. That's why we should not do it. You can catch the thief and then handcuff or tie his hands, call the police first till they come and deal with him so that he cannot run anyway, you know. So on the other hand, I come from the government, I come to the youth because I say it's a package. Every Gambian is responsible. So when I come to the youth, you always used to say that. I mean, it's not their fault sometimes, but some people it's their fault. Their fault that they don't try to work. You understand? They don't try to work because there are certain jobs you don't need to learn it even before. You can be an apprentice and then you don't even need to go to school, and you'll be in 3 years very qualified just by looking at what they are doing, how they are doing it. You can do it also. You know, we have a lot of people opening their own shops in Gambia, being a tailor or auto mechanics, and so most of them didn't go to school. You understand? But they seize the opportunity being an apprentice and looking how is it done. Sorry. And then they could also start from there. So that's why I used to say that we should not always, and this mentality should also change from most of our youths. Why should I do this job? Because they are going to laugh at me. If I happen to go and wash a car, when people pass by, they laugh at me. They'll say I'm a car washer. If I do this, they'll say I am that. That is the false mentality, old age mentality, primitive. The world we live today, those things are out, but we are still suffering with these things in the Gambia. I should not do this, then they laugh at me. But what is worse than when you go and steal and they catch you and then beating you naked and then put it in social media, which is more painful?
Yeah, that's more painful.
That is more painful. So if I can risk that, then why don't you just go and take a job where you can feed yourself and your family, even if it is not much? You know,
Yeah.
that is also a big mistake. Sitting down, drinking atay and say, I'm not going to do this, I'm not going to do that. If that was true, these people will not leave their other African countries rushing to Gambia. They know that there is opportunity. You know why they are coming? Because Gambia is better than their countries. I mean, the opportunity is there. It's a blue ocean. There are certain businesses you can do there. They know it because in their countries there is a lot of competition. So that means being a Gambia, you have all advantages.
Yeah.
You are at home. You can speak the language. You are living with your brothers and sisters. It's just to wake up and go and get the job and get your money, and everybody will respect you. You know, Even if it is not much.
Yeah.
Make sure that you respect it, you are happy with it, and you are happy doing it. Then involving yourself in a very dangerous situation. Hmm?
So
And
where's the blame here, Alice, if you don't mind?
no, I mean
Is
that
it
was for the
youth?
youths. That
Yeah.
was for the youths now, because I started with the top. The government failed to take care of the youths. That's why they are also taking this way. So you cannot blame them sometimes. So for the youths, I'm just saying these are things they should also think about. You understand?
Okay.
They should not say this job I should do. When they come to Europe, they have to take anything they have to survive. So in Gambia, it's the same thing. Foreigners are coming to Gambia because they know there is a blue also. There are a lot of chances in Gambia, which the youths can also take in their hand before the foreigners do it. But we are too precious, I could say, that we don't want to even
No,
do anything dirty.
Alice, I think the best explanation there is perhaps we are to we look at the next people next to us, how they're gonna judge us. Perhaps that's why the complexity.
Yeah, that is just mentality. That's why I say, and this mentality is out. Look at these people; they are more modern than us. People don't even ask you what kind of job or so, because every job is respected. You understand? So this mentality is not there because the job is where you can survive and gain your dignity. I mean, your respect. That's it. You don't need to go and steal also. No. And,
Oh,
and sometimes you can see a job where many people even earn more just because it's many people maybe don't want to do it. And then you have some jobs where people earn more because of the risk. You understand? Things like that. But not to say I'm not going to be a tailor, then they laugh at me. I'm not going to be an auto mechanic, they laugh at me. The people who are laughing at you, are they feeding you? That's why they have to make this click. Are these people saying nonsense going to bring a bag of money in front of my door every morning? If the answer is yes, then you can hear them. If it is no, then think of yourself, plan yourself, go and look for a job. Doesn't matter what, because when foreigners are doing it, making their money, building their story buildings in their countries, and you are there, you have to be opportunity more, then do it. Make sure that you don't go and steal and kill yourself or taking scissors and try to attack people and so. They don't mind to kill somebody, I know that. But they are just using it as a weapon. In case maybe they are also in because I don't blame the youth. The youth are doing very harmful stealing. Harmless stealing, I would say. The biggest bosses, the mafia, the cartel, they are there. But Gambians don't point their finger to that.
The biggest embezzlers, the people who
That's it.
really
That's
stealing,
it.
are
Gambians
the
don't
ones in
point
the
finger
top.
to them. That's it. For them,
That's it.
Gambians, there's also another mentality by the Gambians. Because these biggest are always well dressed up. They are driving nice cars. So the Gambian will say, oh, he's a good man. He's a respectful man. In that time, the Gambian will not see him as a criminal. But what he's doing is even worse than the youths. You understand? So
Exactly.
people point finger on the youth, but what are the youths doing? They're just doing small stealing. It's not good. I'm not supporting it. I damn it, But the worst are there moving, and everywhere people are telling them yes, sir. That is clear. So Gambians should open their eyes. The people doing the worst thing, they're there, and they are the most respected people in the society. That means the people don't know who is a criminal. You
Yeah.
understand?
All
That's
right.
the mentality. So for me, and even the diaspora, I will also say that they are also part of the package. I mean, they should also try to uh, get this communication. I mean, with families and so, even if somebody is having a brother trying to miss the way, going to that direction, to say, let them talk to him, or you talk to him or her directly and give advice, because I know many in the diaspora, maybe they are more enlightened. They can still give a little bit of advice to say, hello, look, don't do that, do it that way. So it's also a responsibility. You understand? So I think that's where I wanted to stop first, and then give Sam and Jaga.
Yeah. I think Famara is coming in, and then Sam is here. Sam, even though he's driving, welcome Sam, and then Famara also joining now. Okay, so let's try to make it brief so we all have some opportunities to to share with our viewers. Okay. Yeah, Njaga, now you have the floor. What is your take on this? The jungle criminality. We are not hearing you.
Jaga, you are mute. We cannot hear you. You are mute.
Njaga, we are not hearing. We are not hearing. We are
You are
not
mute.
hearing. We are not hearing.
Yeah, good afternoon, guys. Sam, how are you? And Famara, thank you.
Good. How you guys doing today?
Good, doing
Hi,
good.
Sam.
Nice.
You are on the way, as usual.
Yes, that's
The man
usual.
of the road.
Man of the road.
But we appreciate you coming and you and Famara, even though you guys are working. So
Sure.
yeah, so we are looking at criminal jungle criminality, like the youths, why the youths been victim of all these stealings we are seeing. What is going on in the system? What is lacking? Who to be blamed? So we are looking at in all dimensions, and then from there we're gonna come to the pharmacy issue. Some of our pharmacies are renting their license to uh, business foreigners so that they can operate on their names. So these are the two issues we want to tackle today. Yeah, just to keep you guys. So we are in with jungle criminalities now. So
Okay.
go ahead. Yeah.
All
Carry
right.
on,
Thank you for
Jaga.
that.
Thank you, Mr. Savannah. Thank you. For me, jungle justice, Yagana Gambia, it has been there for a long time. Why it wasn't like this? Because of I can remember Bimaneke Hale, Ramadan gis suma brother si dan japa saja, diko do, diko torture, diko def yo hamne. Madam, it was horrible since we were kids, we were seeing it. So it has been happening, but now it is worse right now because of then there is a problem. And when it was happening at that time, it even stopped at the end. In Japan and such other things like that, because of after there was rule of law in the country. But we are not in a serious country, to be honest. We are not a serious country. because of since this jungle justice thing started, what is the stance of our government? Because I've not seen any stance, a strong stance on against this jungle justice, because of everybody has to be protected. Citizens, like, no matter what you do, there is a law that is protecting you, and there is a law also that is against you if at all that you do something wrong. That's why we have our institutions. But the problem is if our system is corrupt, if our government is corrupt, the institutions feel sick. And if they are sick, this is the problem. It goes down to the public. And if at all that these crime rates are going up and our institutions or our security are not doing enough, they will take the matter in their own hands, either to protect themselves or to set an example. And there comes a problem. You understand? And it's all about setlo, like I was saying before. It all started Mantisuma Setlo when President Barrow was talking on Eid. You understand his speech? There was nothing like a strong stance against crimes or the insecurity we are facing or or against public safety. You understand? The problem in our country is our president. President we problem. So there was no firm attitude, yeah, this has to stop, or this will stop, or this is what we are going to do to make it stop. Enough things like that. Because of we needed a speech from the president to give us hope, to give us more security, and also to remind us and reassure us that this country is in safe hands, and we are safe. Either we are in public or any time of the day or at the night. So all this started. So if I thought that the president was acting like he was just explaining that day about, because he didn't even talk about it much. So the Gambians sweated it. So they said that they felt that, okay, the government is not doing enough to protect our things, our materials, or our lives. We are going to do it by ourselves. And how to do it is to set an example by torturing. And that is abnormal. Everybody has to be protected, no matter what you do. You understand? There is a human right governing us. We have laws, we have institutions. You understand? We have things that should protect us, and also that should protect our things and our lives and our activities. So that is the thing. So if that doesn't happen, people will take their own responsibilities. And let me tell you something. It's not everybody is a criminal who goes to steal or something like that. Some people are on drugs. I'm not because of me, I've lived in an area like there are boys or there are people that I saw were doing these criminal activities. They don't come from a criminal family. They came from a responsible family, a family that they have a very strong stance in our country. But because of drugs or because of a lack of respect or because of how they were raised, they end up, you understand, they can just drink one day. Some people, they just go and steal without even being thieves. They can drink their roses or their alcohol, then they are high. They feel that when the sky is falling down, they get pointed at it stops. So that is the problem. So they just go inside and see something. Okay, this is what we can do to show that we are brave, we are strong, and things like that. They just go and do it. So if you catch that person and beat him to death, what are you going to see? Then there will be a clash. There will be a problem in our own in our own country. There will be a problem within us. So that is the problem. Not everybody does go and breaks inside somebody's compound or a shop is a thief. Some people are doing it because of they are not even there. You understand? They were not even thinking of what they were doing. You understand? That's why everybody there. That's why there is a law and a government and institutions that should protect us. No matter what you do, you should be protected, and we should be protected. That's for me. That's what I say right now.
Thank you, Jaga.
Yeah.
Thank you, Njaga. Thank you.
Yeah.
Sam, are you on point? Famara. Those are very important points that Njaga and then Alas just mentioned.
If Famara is available, let him go first. I just got home. I may try to get on my computer. It will be better for me than on the phone.
Okay,
yes.
Thank you for that.
Famara,
can you hear us?
Yeah, I can hear you. How are you doing, Alas?
Fine, thank you. Welcome. You're
Very
welcome.
good. I mean, Jaga said it all. Jaga just hit the nail on the head, obviously. And this thing has been going on for a while in the Gambia, but then it was not to the level that it is right now. So it is becoming very concerning. And just like Jaga said, we just need to have a system in place. That's why we have government, and that's why we have institutions. that are there to protect all of us. It doesn't matter whether you are a criminal or you are a good person, but we have institutions that protect everybody. Our rights, our fundamental human rights must be protected irrespective of what. And this is why the role of the government comes into play. Of course, yes, we know the head of state, you cannot talk about everything in the country, but a situation like this, when your citizens are becoming very concerned, your citizens are losing their life because of incidences with people trying to break in their houses, or people who break in their houses try to steal, and during that confrontation, people get killed. I mean, that's what happened in Sanyang, and that's what escalated the whole problem in Sanyang. Because somebody was trying to break in somebody's house, and then there was a conflict. I mean, they fought, and the other one was stabbed to death. We had stories of people being robbed, and they're killed, or they've been stabbed. So this is where we need to say the president. You cannot just say, yes, the police have an institution, they have a role to play, I cannot do the police war. But the word of a leader is very, very important. And this is what Jammeh used to do. And Jammeh will just say, kudaf davlu, benga defli, lumala def dumala balan, and things like that. I mean, those kind of words from a leader, it helps a lot in even strengthening those institutions, even the police that are supposed to do their job and they're not doing their job, but a leader telling you that this needs to be done. It helps you also to double up your efforts. We know there are challenges, of course, because the institution, which is the police department, they are underfunded, and then they don't have the capacity. Yes, that is there. We understand that. You understand? But also, when a leadership also get involved, then it becomes a collective effort. Then we will know where the problem is, and we will try to resolve the problem. Because if there is a political will, there's a political commitment, we'll definitely find a solution to that. And then we have just seen the IGP on the street a couple of days ago, going on the streets, and yesterday, trying to get some of this. Are one way of it. This is just a piecemeal of what needs to be done. So obviously, Njaga says it all. We are urging our president to come out and give speech, because that's when the people are calling you out, they definitely need to hear you. Even if it's going to be a short statement, just say that what is going on in the country is alarming. Let's help the police. Let citizens work together. When people hear you, it gives us a lot of strength. It gives us a lot of courage. And it also makes us comfortable that the higher authority are listening to what our concerns are, and they are ready to do something about it. But if you don't do that, it leads to what is happening, and which is totally wrong. People should not take law in their own hands. If you can find somebody stealing or somebody stole your house, the best thing to do is take him to the police station. Follow it up. Make sure the case doesn't just like that. Like us heard from the IGP, they said when criminal comes to them, they have 72 hours to chip them, and they have to leave them after 72 hours. And now it is the role of the court to decide whether to try them and find them guilty or not. But the police said they have 72 hours to hold anybody there. So what maybe that citizens don't understand. So this here, I think we need a national platform. We need to see the Gambia police force, coming to GRTS on all this national platform. Have an hour, talk about security issues and what they are doing. Then people will have confidence. The foreigners in our country, the ambassadors, the diplomats, and even our investors, because some of these investors coming into our country, we open our door to them so that they can contribute to our economy. But they cannot operate when the country is not safe. And to do that, to make them comfortable in our country, we have to tell them that we are on top of the issues. We are dealing with the issues the way it is. So when that is not happening, and then you have a lot of all these diplomats and foreigners in our country, and they are seeing people taking laws in their hand, beating each other, it does not tell well for our country. And it tells us that our system is very weak, and then the system is not even there at all. So this is why the role of the leadership is so important. Thank you so much.
Thank you. Thank you so much, Famara, for that insight.
Thank you very much, Famara.
Thank you, Paola. Thank you very much.
Yeah, that is really a good insight. Yeah, so let's see Sam come in 1 second. Sam, yeah, go ahead, Sam. I think Sam is connecting now.
He's trying to come in.
Yeah. All right, Sam, you have the floor.
Yeah,
Okay.
from the car to the office.
Oh,
Okay.
sorry, I missed Vamara's part as well, and so yep. But I think from what I've heard from Alice and Jaga, you guys really just like Vamara started, you nailed it on the head, and
Thank you.
not much left for me to say other than reiterate what you said. Everything when it comes to crime and people's safety, public safety in any country should be the responsibility of the government. The government really is supposed to be providing safety for people, safety and security for people. And of course, all of this works well is a government collaborating with the people, with public education and public awareness programs on radio and television services really help with all of this. I know some of these criminal activities involve some foreigners. That's one level. What can the government do for our own people is another thing. Because youths get into trouble and they get into criminal activities because sometimes because they don't have anything to do. Certain individuals will take it on themselves that this is what they want to do. They want to get quick cash, and the only way to get quick cash is to go rob other people. So they taking it on their own as that is their choice of doing. And the government security forces really need to be able to catch such people and arrest them, prosecute them, and put them behind bars. That's what needs to happen for them. Foreigners, really same thing, catch them, prosecute, take them to prison, let them serve their time. When they finish their term, send them home, deport them, take them back to their countries, because we should not be encouraging that, and the government need to set an example. Now, the other part is, what can the government do for the youth? It's very, very important, because that's fundamental. Every government need to have some plans for your people, and think about, looking at statistics and see how many people are coming out of high school this year, next year, in the next 5 years. You plan ahead and accordingly, so that you can accommodate or have some plan for those people that are coming. Not everybody is going to go to a university. Not everybody is going to go to join somewhere or just get a job immediately. So we should have opportunities available for people to choose. One of them, we have the GTTI there. I once said this in my audios, and I think I've said it on this platform too. The government need to have programs like, for example, give incentive for people joining the security force. If you're going to the National Army, the Army should have a place where new recruits can come in after they complete their training. They go into a 2-year program where they learn other skills. Because what are the Army doing? I don't know. I mean, there's no war to fight. They're not fighting any war, and we're not going to get into any war with anybody.
And there's no war that we could win, right?
Exactly. So we're not thinking that way. So what we need to think of is, we need to think about, how do we develop these Army people so when they come out of the Army, they can either stand on their own by opening their own businesses, or be able to join a company where they can work and be beneficial. For example, if we have all these skills in the Army, carpentry, welding, electrician, masonry work, roofing, tiling, air conditioning, I mean, you name it, painting, all of these could be part of something that the Army can be training people. And if they have a 2-year program in that while in the Army, they are getting themselves ready and prepared to discharge out of the Army and be able to go to the bank and get a loan and open your own business. They can do that. They can also, and I've also said this before, the government really need to stop giving these contracts to people, because some of these contracts that they're giving to people are done illegally. Some of them are done with a lot of bribery. Contracts have been given to subcontractors on a bribery basis. Basically, people are gaining money out of this. So the government can stop all of this, because some of them are really we are paying, the government is paying more than what they're supposed to. Unlike if they have their own maintenance program, where every department in the government has their own maintenance program, or one maintenance program for the government, but every department has their maintenance director that directs all maintenance programs to be able to maintain all government facilities. If you look at our hospitals, they are deteriorating very bad. You look at our schools, they are going out of control. You look at public buildings, they are not being taken care of. I mean, if you build a structure, you've got to maintain it. And who maintains it should be the responsibility of the government and the department. So think about if they teach people in the Army and train them in with all these skills, and they graduate out of there with a 2-year certification, they come out with at least an associate degree in that field. When they come out, government employs them into their own maintenance department. So you have a maintenance director, for example, for the Ministry of Health. I'll just use that as an example because hospitals are in very terrible condition and hospitals are sick in the Gambia, and we're taking sick people to a sick place to get cured. That doesn't work, you know. To be able to really sustain the facilities of our hospital facilities, if we have our own maintenance department that handles all the hospitals, and they will have plumbers, electricians, weldmen, maybe not welding because there's not much to weld in the hospital, but plumbers, electricians, painting, the cleaning crew, okay? And then they have all of these fields in there, and they can deploy them based on, you know, priority to make sure you send a crew to the RVH, you know, to go and renovate that whole hospital. They can do really knock down all those bathrooms and tear them apart and remodel them to very high standard bathrooms for people. You know, go into guest rooms, close one section at a time, renovate that area, make the rooms very nice and clean, and put the proper beds in there, proper everything, and then move on to another section and move guests, the patients to different areas. So you have your own maintenance crew, whereby if the hospital administration team goes out and inspect the building, you know, maintenance people go inspect the building, they see that the paint is scratching over here, send a painter man to go fix it. If you have restrooms that are leaking, water is leaking out of the, you know, in bathroom, send the plumbers to go fix that. These are people that are part of the government that work for the hospital, and they're getting paid by the hospital. So the government is not paying any contractor to go fix this. Because every time we get into contractor, something that costs $2,000, they will tell you 6,000 because somebody else wants something to go into his pocket. You can eliminate all of those by having those for the youth. So at the end of the day, to cut my story short, the youths can really benefit from this if we enroll them into the Army, for example. That's just an example. Training institutions where they can learn skills that could be used in our own government instead of giving contracts to people. This will take a lot of people off the street because they have to get up every morning and go to work, and they're earning a living and a good living that will make them survive and sustain themselves and their families, and they will not even think about going to steal. So I'll stop here.
Thank you very much,
All
Sam.
what
you guys said.
That's a good
right.
advice, a good point you made.
Thank
I
you.
hope that maybe, yeah, things will go and be structured exactly according to your plan.
Yeah, thank you, Sam, for that insight. Thank you, Alice. Thank you, Jaga and Pamela. So just to listen to you guys, I think you touched almost every area. So I'm just gonna come in and then just kind of put the cake, I mean the ice on the cake. Okay. So the issue here I see is on two folds. One is on the side of our leaders, and then the other is on the side of our citizens. Everyone has a responsibility here. It's not just our leadership, but our citizens too. So the way I'm gonna address this and analyze this is that we had a leadership failure. The fact of the matter is why, first of all, this is happening. You know, why is it that the youths are not getting employment? Have employment opportunity been created since, you know, we changed to New Gambia? What are the number of jobs being created for the youths? Why are we seeing, youths being on the street? I stepped in the Gambia after 2016. That was 2019. I stepped at the airport. I saw many youths, many youths. Everyone wants to help me pick my back up or do something just to get some change. I said, I cannot, not every, I have only 4 bags. It's not like, all of you guys can have something to carry. I mean, unless you guys just want to follow me and then I give you something. So I asked them, we were sitting down waiting for my car to come in and started asking, what is the situation in this country? He said, bro, we can, there are nekufi. Fee, the wow, the sona bit there. Said what? He said yes. He said no ligay, there's no job. I said, wow, that's why I'm seeing all these hundreds of youths here. Yeah, they come there just to see what they can get from people coming. So, and I also walk in the streets as well. When I go like buying shopping materials and so forth, I had to get, like youths come and ask me, to be a mediator between, me and the people selling the stuff. Like, let's say I went to get some sand to do some construction. I have 4 or 5 people right there standing, try to be a mediator between the guy who sell the sand and myself, so that they can get their cuts. I said, no, I mean, in as much as you guys need some help, I need to get to the source. I need to go to the source so I can save money. Listen, G, it's not like I need money. So everybody need money. Just because I'm from, America doesn't mean I don't need money. I need to save money too, because I have a lot to do. So I can see the desperation in their hands. It's not like just don't want to work. There's no know-how. The institution that's supposed to create, investors, that's supposed to create the loopholes the government's supposed to create to encourage businesses to grow, to give loans to small businesses to hire people. They are putting those money in their pocket on big building big houses and big, doing things that are not important to the nation. So that's why we are not getting opportunities. The government is not holding up. When I met, Barrow here in 1979 and 2017, he categorically told me, Mr. Sawane, we don't create jobs as a government, but we create opportunities for jobs, create loopholes for jobs. I said, even that alone, I'm not saying that the government's supposed to, create jobs, job purposes to create jobs, but give good incentive, give good contract to people who can hire your citizens. But you give contract to somebody from China, they will hire Chinese. From Senegal, they will hire Senegalese. Look at our fishery department. Look at our environments. So we are not having Gambians having own businesses. They're giving contracts to people who will come and hire whoever they want. Look at the Indians. They're dominating the supermarket business. So the problem is the government is not operating the way it's supposed to. They don't have the mental mindset, or they don't know the know-how. And if they don't know the know-how, let them look for people who can help, genuine people, not like people who will come and join them stealing. So this is the key problem, number one. Number two is that, we also have this gap between the poor and the rich. Most people who are in those cameras stealing, you can look at them, they don't probably don't have, even if they have a parent, they are probably people who are loose in the street. There's no proper upbringing to these people. When you even start to question them, for Juge, Kerefale, they cannot even specifically tell you where they are from. So there is, these people in the mix that are really kind of like lost. Either they are on drugs, like somebody said, or kind of like they are lost in the mix and they want to make a living. So I think there's a big gap between the poor and the rich in the Gambia. What I mean, the rich are people who are a little bit well off, and then people who are definitely, desperately, cannot even make a living. So what does the role of the government comes? Try to analyze your community, your society, trying to diversify opportunities. Don't just specify on one area, and also create opportunities in the rural area so people will not just be concentrated. There is a lot of ways. 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 There is a lot of wa to encourage people to go back to the rural area and get into farming, get into gardening. There's a lot of educated ways, to create incentive by giving loans to these people. Go and give loans to the farmers. Give them big, like when they get good returns, they will want to farm. But everybody's mind concept is let's go to the Combo area, and they are all stuck there. There's no job opportunity. People are flooded with dirt, and the place is getting more, like dirty, and people are not having good, healthy lives. So all this is creating problem. You have concentration of people in one area, and then the up is out there. Nothing is happening there. You go to Baribu area, people are not even picking up a stick. Even our, the Duda Kurol men, I don't want to call Bay. They are all gone. You know what? Some of those, buses are all gone. They are empty now because there's no, people there to take care. Everybody is in the combo. So there should be a diversification of, opportunities for the poor and the rich. Between the gap between the rich and the poor can also be closed. So that will help at least the people who are poor to make a little bit living. So that way they will not send their kids will not get loose in Serekunda area, breaking in people's houses and so forth. And another thing you guys mentioned also, we should look into like this fast-paced life. I must get this. I must get this. I must do this. Man, suma mom mungi suffer. Mbawa batari njane. I must do something. And then they started, taking either the back way or started breaking in people's home. So people should look into how to be, citizens should now start to look at innovation. Try to get into carpentry. Try to do something, handiwork. I'm telling you, try to fix some tiles. Listen, I've never went to school for construction, but they say necessity is the mother of invention. When I have my house and I see that there's a need, guess what? I go on YouTube and Google how to lay a tile. I get the materials, follow the steps. Guess what? I was able to lay a tile that somebody can step on. And then nobody came there and laughed at the house. So if I can do that from no construction background, any one of these youth can do that. They all have cell phones. Try to learn something and try to exercise it somewhere. If you have a entrepreneur mindset, you should be able to create something in the Gambia, even with how many dollars is. But our people are sitting down, man, them are nafsi. Man, some of them in Europe, they might touch fee, they might touch fale. Small wall of the Bahud no, they want to man get try. Mamara. You are giving me the motivation. Man get try. Okay, so so that's the thing. We have to be innovative. If we start to be our youth start to be innovative, I know that if you travel, be it. If you don't travel, trying to create the creativity mindset, the ability to get into learning stuff with this new technology. I said to myself, internet is the best thing that happened to us in our generation. Internet is the best thing. I'm so happy to be living this life than to be living in a life of my great-grandparents.
If you use it wisely.
Wisely.
No, but when it comes to internet and technology in the Gambia, we have a big problem, and we should have a special topic concerning that. Just continue. Sorry for cutting you off.
No. I understand, but still they can go on Facebook. Gambian people are more active on Facebook than you and I.
Yeah.
They can get at least, get into the Google and search. Everybody knows Google. They know, how things, you find out how things work.
No,
so
but
what I'm saying is that we need to get out from that comfort zone of being given spoon feeding. We need to take proactive approach of our lives and try to think out of the box. The difference between a black, excuse me for this, I'm not trying to be racist here, but the difference between black and white is the ability to think, to use what we have, and then look outside our environment and make the best use of what we have. This is the difference between Africans and this European. So once we are sitting down comfortably with our attire and jetais, and then just talk about big things, Baro didn't do this, Yajame didn't do this, didn't do that. So we tend to be so more, a kind of a blame type than be creative internally. So what I'm trying to, encourage my colleagues and the youths out there, let's just go out of our comfort zone and try to make set challenges for ourselves. And then you go to university or get this degree or get this, that, and think that's the end of your life. No, you have what you study, you have to put it in practice. If you study food safety, you have to make sure that you see that works and have a value in something. So that creativity will bring us more return. You can open your own business. Sam today, he can open his own food safety, business. Alice, can be, is already creative in other areas. In Jakatu. So let's not all be depending on books. What do you read in the books? Put it into practice. If you cannot put it into practice, put it in the garbage. We don't need it. Things that can be put into practice and bring
take
value.
The next one.
And then yeah. So these are the things that I think our youth need to take, responsibility. I think, we will be fine when we do that. And then this crime rate will come down. And the government also need to have good policy. These police are not equipped. They are not given this sophistication. They need to put money into these areas and also deter crimes. So it is a lot of combination of things that has to do. Community has to do their part. The police has to, the government has to do their part, but with good policing and equipping them and giving them the right tools, our society will be safe back again. But the way we are going is kind of scary. I'm scared to go to Gambia.
The danger is only, as I said, if a country, the people try to take the law in their hands, the danger is always there for a civil conflict.
Yeah,
because,
but Alice, you have never been robbed. If you have been robbed, you would want to kill that criminal. I mean, I'm not blaming the people who are.
I know, but Gambia is small. You know why I used to say it can happen to conflict very quickly? Look at this style, what is going on now. So, and we are full of groups in Gambia. We have a lot of tribes too. So, if one happened to catch your brother now, and then they beat him half dead, I mean, you know that your brother is faulty, but because of your relationship, you will be against the people who are doing that immediately. We are all human beings.
Of course.
You understand? Yeah, that's it. So that's why it's the danger always there. So when that happens to a particular group, these people will forget about the wrong done from this person, but they are focusing then more on their relationship and that he's part of them. So to be against the people who did that, you understand? That's why such things are very dangerous in a country. The government should step and say, look, people, here is the law, I am practicing it. So you don't need to do anything. You can catch him, handcuff him, call the police, as one said, I think Sam or Famara, and call the police. They'll come and do their job. They can do community watching. That means you report what you see and everything, because that is also helping the police. But we cannot just get somebody while he robbed me, I kill him. That's not the way.
That's not the way. It's wrong. It's barbaric. But it's not the way. And then those people should also be held responsible for doing or reacting.
That's why I blame everybody here, even the diasporans. From top to bottom, the government failed. The youth should be active. And they should try and take alternatives also. And that's the problem with us Gambians. You go and study your PhD, you go to Gambia, what do you expect? You run to Barrow's office, either he employs you or you sit out on the streets. So this should be changed. Whether it's our curriculum to reform it, I've been saying that 1,000 times, because there is no way that I will learn only this and expect to do only that in my life. We don't even do that in Europe. You have to be creative. Look, I am engineer. I did engineering. I have my master's. So I could have said it's enough. But what am I doing? I'm very busy with Google now. So this is it. So don't say here is enough. And they used to be creative, but to be creative, you need an advisor at this age to tell you, Mr. Sawane, why don't you try this? Why don't you, because the youth themselves, they cannot advise themselves. The parents will do that. But sometimes they are in such an age, you cannot tell them anything. But there is a way to do it, to talk with them, give them advice, and they'll hear you, and then propose something important for them when you see that there is a way, which is also very sought in the Gambia. Again, so that means the youth should be ready. That's why I said it here, to also try to be to accept what they have and try to make goal out of it. Because the foreigners coming, doing that, take it from our hands and make their money and cut their ticket and then go through our airport and go to America, Canada, or anywhere and building their houses at home. The money is from there. So we should not just sit down and look at them and blame them and then they without taking any
Somebody,
real.
I think somebody mentioned, Alex, somebody mentioned about drugs. If the drugs is the factor of all this, then we have a serious problem. Okay.
Yeah, I said it here last time, that in the Gambia is a small country and there are coming a lot of drugs. Now we're even having tons coming for that small Gambia. Anyway, even if it is transit, just imagine if there is a leakage going in the public. I said that here, then we have problem. And these occasions happening, even Jaga mentioned it. That is for me the biggest suspect now.
So you think it's the drugs? If it is the drugs, then
because
the government has
if
to
you
step
imagine,
up. I mean, our law enforcement has to step up.
The videos I just got, these people they could hardly even speak. You understand? One Jaga said. So you can see that they are not consciously there. And then to have this without fear to do such things, there must be also something in the background. So that
because
means
you could get killed by robbing somebody's home, right?
they're not afraid when they take those things. That's the danger. That's why drugs are dangerous, especially.
So we should have a good narcotic system in our country to fight drugs, because
when there's no control,
should definitely be in the center of that. I mean, I think we should communicate that message to the government, because they need to, the institution need to be there to fight against drugs, because our youths cannot be drug infiltrated and then think right. And then, like you said, some of these people are young, and some of these people don't know what they're doing. And then you go into somebody's home, you can get killed. Even in America here,
they will not be afraid because
blow your head off.
They will not be afraid because when they are in another world, as Jaga said, that's why they do commit such things. Some don't even steal because they want to get something, but because what they take before, they just do an act like that.
Yeah, so we need to get to the root cause of this. I mean, whatever is the root cause, I think we have leaders in place who can get on top of this and communicate it to our. The problem is, if we don't know the root cause and you don't show concern, that's a failure. So two things here. We need to communicate this to the citizens. Come to a press relief or something. Put some statement out that the crime going here is threatening, even tourism, even people. My friends, I want to go to Gambia. Now they cannot go. Myself, I cannot go to Gambia because I'm scared. Not that I'm a scared guy, but I don't want to just get into get robbed or something. I don't want to just get into this business, because last time I went there, I stepped out 15 minutes. My brother's wife came to the house, and the thief was in my living room with my laptop running out. The whole neighborhood started screaming, and he dropped my laptop. Fortunately, I was able to get that back. So imagine that was 2019. Now, if I go to Gambia now, who knows? They might even take me and steal me from my people.
Yeah, you said it. So that's the situation, and it should not be that the citizens should have fear in their own land, in their own country. So that means something is wrong, or the last time I got a picture also, somebody was walking alone, is very present. They sent it to me, I think today. This man was attacked from 3 men. They nearly killed him. So he's from the hospital, in the hospital, trying to say what happened. So these are things one needs to look at. I mean, I heard that the police, they started something because Barrett said something to them that they have to be active, something like that. It's not yet clear for me. Maybe they'll start doing something. But the thing is, just like our last conference, I told you here, the police can be very good but it's not too effective when the criminality is higher. And the police can be very good, but they cannot protect 2 million people
Let them
when you just
deploy the
have
military.
500
Let them,
people.
like Sam said, instead of military sitting there eating chip all the time, let them come to work. Let some security forces be pumped into policing. Let's not just,
But that thing should be advised to borrow from his advisors to put that something like that in his plan. That's why it's very important to have very good advisors near you.
maybe Sam
Advisors.
should go and advise Barrow for us.
But that is, I pointed that also the last time because
Or Jaka or Farmer or somebody.
not to take them completely from being an army, or because many maybe would like to stay being an army, but to make incentives for them. That people who support the police that time, they are going to have
Yeah.
a certain percentage or
I
something.
think Jaka and Sam
It's
wanna
still,
come.
and it's still cheaper for the government in that case. So come in, Jaga.
Yeah, I don't know, because my head is hurting from work direct from here since early morning. So I know I was just trying to. Are we going to talk about the medicines or because of?
Yeah, let Sam come. You can just come and talk.
Yeah. I just want to talk about this. Is in Gambia we have a problem. We have a collective. This is a collective responsibility. You understand? Okay, we start from our homes. Sunyukeri. Okay, our families, our parents are not that empowered, or they are not financially strong to send our kids to school. They can send them at the beginning, but when they reach at a certain level, they don't pay their schools anymore or give them all the necessary tools that they need to continue their education. You understand? Some of the people you see in our families have children, but they are not worth to have children because of instead of giving them what children need, they don't. They just when their children are born, they don't even care about them. You understand? So that's why we have these three kinds of youths in our country. There are these kind of youths that either you help them or not, they will still move on. They will still make something out of their lives. You understand? I'm not either government dimbali len or dimbali, they will still make something out of their lives. So you have certain youths that you have to help them for them to make something out of their lives. You understand? But you have you have another category of youths that no matter what you do, they will never ever make something out of their lives. So what can the government do to help those kind of people? That is the problem. You understand? So that is the problem. So for me, it's a lot of problems that we have to fix. And so when this kind of things happen, so if I thought that there is corruption, if I thought that our education system is sick, our health system is sick, how are we going to move on? In Gambia, sometimes we have to start from zero again. To make things work, we have to start from zero again. Because of, as one quoted here, it's like a bankubugo. You can just make a good brick and put it on it thinking that your house will be okay. No, it will all fall down again. You understand? This is the problem. So we have to start from somewhere and have a vision and have a strategy, have a plan to reach where we should reach. Some mentioned about the military base that we can train our youths or things like that. That's why we had GTTI. For me, there was a time that I knew students from GTTI who are now architects, who are big plumbers, who are big electricians. Honestly speaking, there are students from GTTI who are responsible right now, but there are students also who are not responsible. So sometimes also it's our own personal collective responsibility when it comes to our lives. As someone once said, sometimes they like they call me jack of all trades. I've tried lots of things as a young man. You understand? I've started lots of things just to survive. You understand? I wasn't waiting for a family or waiting for the government. So sometimes also we have to have this self-esteem in ourselves. You understand? We have to have this bravery. We have to find that this man need ko gis yalla binda ko rek. I'm no worship. I'm not loko yalla jaglel. Everybody has a talent. It depends on either you use it wisely or not. And as I said, somebody mentioned that Gambians, they don't think. They think. But the problem is execution. We think. We have the best ideas in the world when we sit down in our yards or in our ghettos. We have the best ideas. But the problem is how to execute it. You understand? There are lots of things that we need. You understand? We need, first of all, a salary regulation in our country. If our salaries are not regulated, there will always a problem. If this work costs $1,000 for you to be paid, somebody will tell you, give me $300 and let me do it. That increases poverty, that increases unemployment. That is the problem. We have to have a job center, a job net, that you understand, that people know that no matter what job that what you can do in this life, when you go there and apply for job, you have an opportunity. Somebody mentioned about municipalities. I think it was some things like that. Yes, every municipality in Gambia, the KMC, the BCC, the Bikama Area Council, things like that, they should have a school. They should train youths about when it comes to cleaning, when it comes to plumbing, when it comes to all these things, so that all government institutions, even though that they are taking youths from the streets, giving them cleaning jobs and giving them a very, very good salary. You understand? You think that they will be on the streets? They won't be on the streets. All our government institutions are dirty. They are even more dirtier than our houses. The buildings are falling down. The paintings have been there for nearly more than 5 years. There is even bulb problem, not about electricity. Even their bulbs are not good. Their fans even are not good. Everywhere is dusty and dirty. While you can set up something that the youth can work, take some youths, either girls or boys, take them to these institutions and make them clean it and pay them good money, so that that's how you create employment in our municipalities. But when you come to the sometimes they walk for kilometers just to have 1 gallon of water. It's terrible. You understand? When you are in the city, you see things that's going on, but it's terrible when you are outside and up there. It is a problem. You understand? You see women on bicycles with their babies on their back, fighting for survival every single day, and politicians are going there, but only if they are coming incoming elections. That's when they see them. People are dying out there because of hunger. Their lives are terrible. You understand? But the problem is our political structure in the Gambia is sick. It is a problem. We are not a serious country, honestly speaking. We are not a serious country. In Europe, we are all in Europe here. There are some things that is a priority when it comes to the food we eat, the water we drink, our health facilities, and education. You understand? And the living of a person, how to make it good and better every single day. But our governments, our institutions, or our leaders is how to make their lives better every single day. Africa, the West are not the problem. Because of the West, they use our Africans to impose on us what they are imposing on us now, to make us poor and poor and poorer. They use our own Africans. They use us. It is us. We are the problem. The West is not a problem. You understand? This jungle justice thing and all these fake medications we are coming to talk about, it's all the government's fault. They are the problem. So this is the problem. We are not a serious country. And to change things, we have to be serious. That's my take on it.
Thank you, Njaga. But I just, Mr. Sawane, you are moved.
Yes, yeah. Thank you, Njaka. Thank you, Sam. You can comment, and then I guess we can have Famara, and then we can start to wrap
I
it
think
up.
it'll be time to move on to the next one. I will just wrap this up by just by saying again what I've said before. Leadership is very, very important. If you don't have leaders that know how to do things, you're always going to be in problem. No matter what you do, things are not going to work. We need to have the leaders. The president need to have advisors that know how, so they can advise him how to do certain things. If we don't have those advisors, in fact, like I once said here, our Constitution said there should be a National Security Council. Since we're talking about security, if we have a National Security Council that consists of the president, the vice president, director of the National Intelligence Agency, then you have the Inspector General of Police, the Army Chief of Staff, with some Army, a couple Army members, the Minister of Interior. I mean, you have all of these that are supposed to be on the committee that advises the president. And if that's not working, my idea is, and my knowledge, I mean, from what I know is, if something doesn't work, dissolve it. Start all over. Just dissolve them all and get a fresh new mind in there that is going to advise you to do the right thing. We can't stay. I mean, Gambia is behind so many years. We cannot continue to operate the same way as fact, every minister that is nominated to be to serve in that ministry, that minister is the advisor to the president for their ministry. They are the ones that need to know how in their area of expertise, but instead we have the wrong people driving the wrong bus. That's what happened. If you have the wrong bus driver going to the wrong direction, he's going to take the kids in the wrong direction. We have the wrong people in the wrong places that don't know how, so nothing's going to work. And all of that need to be dissolved and changed. So my start is leadership, leadership, leadership. If we have the right people, we will make the right things.
Thank you, Sam.
Thank you,
Thank
sir.
you. So Njaga, you can just go ahead and introduce the Njaga, are you online? Yeah, just introduce the second topic. I know you're having headache, so you.
Yeah. The second topic is about, like, as we all heard about the rumors about the pharmacists working under the Ministry of Health renting out their license to pharmacy drugstore owners who has no medical background. You understand? Then after that, we had a rumor that a truck of worth of millions of dollars of fake drugs were intercepted at KIU. So I think that's what we're gonna talk about right now.
Okay, so Njaga, I don't know too much about details about this, but I'm not sure about Alice and Sam and then Famara. But what are these pharmacists doing? They're using their license and giving it to the foreigners to get open pharmacies under their name and getting cuts, kickbacks. Is that what is happening? What do you understand from this topic?
Exactly. And the most threatening part is that lots of big pharmacies in our country are mentioned. When it comes to Stop Pharmacy, City Pharmacy, Atlantic Pharmacy, Victory Pharmacy, and Kairaba Pharmacy, these pharmacies are very big pharmacies. You understand that people depend on them. You understand, for their medication and their health. You understand. When they talk about pharmacies under the Ministry of Health renting out their license to drugstores who has no background on about medication or drugs or things like that. The problem is, like, those pharmacists working under the Ministry of Health, they are qualified and given license to operate or to open a pharmacy. And one of them even is a Nigerian who has been granted a citizen, a Gambian citizenship, and he also is a licensed owner. You understand? And the problem is, how can a Nigerian come in our country, have be a citizen, have our be a licensed pharmacist license holder, and at the same time renting it out? This is what I said about. We are not a serious country. You understand? Honestly speaking,
There must be something wrong there.
No, we are just not serious. It's all about for me, it's all about.
No, I think I will correct that. I think our leaders are not serious. Not we.
When I say we are not serious,
Don't say us. I not.
I mean, our institutions, they are not serious. And
okay, our institutions, yeah.
Our institutions, they are not serious. So it's like, okay, I have a license, and those people who are licensed, those pharmacists who are license holders are the one who monitor and supervise these pharmacies and drugstores. You understand? So if I told that I am working under the Ministry of Health, I'm a license holder, and I rent it out to someone who has no medical background, who has no qualifications, who is not licensed to operate on a medical store, they just do it because of money, and you go and rent your, you can go and rent your license to that person and be receiving $100,000 every single month or more. $100,000 is Gambian dollars. I think that lots of Gambians will rent out their dignity or their lives for that, honestly speaking.
That's a lot of money, my friend.
Yeah?
In Gambia, that's a lot of money.
Yeah, that is a lot of money. And it's every month, not every year. It's lots of money. How much are the ministers paid? They are not paid that much. You understand? Lots of businessmen are not having that every single month. So that's it. So this is the problem. So if I told that those people are operating on the first license, I heard a story in India a while ago, I don't know, a week ago, things like that. They have closed about 200 pharmacies because of pharmacy owners, you are license holders, you understand, they rent out their pharmacy, their licenses to drugstores and go and find another job. So they'll be receiving 2 pay cuts. They will be having money from the original jobs and having money also from the drugstores. This is the problem. So if I told that our pharmacies are operating like this, they can, because of, if the pharmacies with the license holders, the ones with license, if they are renting out their license, do you think that they will go there and supervise or monitor?
No.
They They won't care about what's going on there. So what kind of drugs are they selling to us? What kind of drugs are they giving to people? So then we are not talking about it. Before that ends, then there is a truck full of drugs and intercepted by Kir. And the Ministry of Health said it has nothing to do with Gambia. But I'm sorry, that is a lie. It has everything to do with Gambia. Gambia is coming to be a safe haven for everything right now that is bad and that is against public safety, or that is bringing complications in our health. And secondly, the problem is our public institutions. When it comes to health, our public health institutions, they are like I don't know how to say it. They are not that up to standard, so that people are not going there. They depend on these pharmacies. So if I told them now, we know that this pharmacy are yeah, we can hear.
Yeah, carry on, Sam.
Okay. All right. So I wanted to start with this because I made a proposal. I actually wrote it. Yeah. Okay, we're back here. So, but anyway, so, in my proposal, I've said things that are going to eliminate all of this problem. And number one is Gambia's healthcare. Gambia needs a lot of reform. I know we need security reform. I know we need civil service reform. We also need healthcare reform, big time. The healthcare need to be reformed, and the reform need to start from the top. The board of directors for our healthcare, that board of directors need to be dissolved. When they dissolve it, start with the new board of directors with some new regulations. And part of those regulations will have that no board of directors, no one in the medical field can own a pharmacy, operate, or be part of any pharmacy in the Gambia or in any health section. If you're there to work for people in our health department, we need your brain. We need everything 100% commitment into our healthcare, because it is a conflict of interest to be part of the board of directors or to be part of the hospital administration and own a pharmacy, operate, or be part of any entity. You cannot do that. So there should be a conflict of interest law that bans them from all of this. So that's part of my proposal. If we have that in place, then we select new directors who don't own a pharmacy, they don't own a clinic, they're not part of any administration in any medical facility at all. Those are the people that are going to come in and, with all the new rules and regulations, be able to champion our medical facilities. Number one, they look at all the things. They are going to be responsible for the recruiting and hiring of doctors and nurses to make sure they select the right qualified people. They are also going to be responsible for maintaining all hospital facilities in the country to make sure that our hospitals operate very well and the way it needs to be. They are going to be responsible for identifying a source of supply for medical supply. This is the group that is going to search and do a research with pharmaceutical companies around the world and pick one that is going to be the best supplier for all medical supplies for Gambia. And all of those medical supplies are going to come with special barcode that no one else has and nobody else can have in the country. The barcode will be specifically for Gambia medical supplies, even the towels, the gloves, all the medicine, everything that is a medicine and supply. That's a hospital supply. Should come from that company, and that comes to the country with that special barcode. That way, our own government can have our own pharmacies inside our hospitals where they're going to sell those medicines to people. And that will be with that special barcode. So this board of directors that I'm talking about, if we dissolve the current one and start with a new one, this new one also will be responsible for all health inspections in all facilities. They will be inspecting all pharmacies to make sure that, number one, they cannot sell anything that has a barcode that belongs to the government. If they do, an arrest need to be made. They need to arrest the owner of that pharmacy, take him to court, prosecute him, take him to court, suspend his license in the meantime until he's found guilty. When he is found guilty, close his pharmacy. All right. This same board of directors should be able to train, send people for training, because normally when you deal with bigger companies, pharmaceutical companies, they will help you, especially when you're getting your medical supplies from. They will help you establish a computerized system that will integrate with their system, so all your supplies can be monitored and electronically. You can order all medical supplies electronically. They will come in to our Gambia our hospital warehouse. Every box will be scanned. They scan everything to make sure that what was ordered is exactly what was received. The scanning system should show that that's exactly what was received. Then it gets put into our warehouse. There should be a monthly audit into every single pharmacy, not 6 months down the road, not 1 year audit them and find out you lost millions. No, every single month, that pharmacy need to be audited to make sure that what we have, or the medical, I'll give an example. If, for example, the medical supply comes in, is $2 million is worth, just an example, $2 million is worth of medical supply came into to Gambia. Everything gets scanned. The computerized system should show that, yes, we've received $2 million worth, because people have to scan to acknowledge. If not, the system is going to block you. You can't go any further. You can't do anything with anything. All right. Then they get put into a warehouse that's all equipped with 165-degree cameras, 365 cameras. Everything in that warehouse and every spot in the pharmacy should all be cameras, except the bathrooms, okay, where people need their privacy. Everything should be computerized with cameras. Cameras need to be linked to a register system in the pharmacy. So everything that gets scanned out or gets sold will be scanned out, and will be recorded not only by the register, but by the cameras as well. There's an interface cable that runs this. There is something that I know this very well, because I've done this in the retail. So this can happen. This is what's going to help make it very difficult for anybody to steal any of that, from whether it's from the warehouse or inside the pharmacy, because on a daily basis, they will run reports to see, say, for example, $2 million at first supply, $2 million worth of inventory came in. It was received, computers acknowledged, and we acknowledge that. All right. We put $500,000 in the pharmacy. So they in the warehouse should have $1,500,000 worth of inventory there that should be kept. So as the pharmacy sells stuff, as doctors write prescriptions for people to go to that pharmacy, not anybody's individual pharmacy, because none of the directors will have any link with any pharmacy. So when they do that, they go to the medical facility and get it from there. Everything gets scanned. At the end of the month, they can run inventory reports and do an audit. When they count the pharmacy, they should see that, all right, you started with $500,000 worth. So far, you sold $200,000 worth. So if we count today, our count today should match $300,000 worth of inventory in the pharmacy. Even if you're short $100, you will be able to run a variance report that tells you that. And it will tell you specifically, since everything is being scanned, it will tell you specifically what your loss is in this section. Is from the Tylenols. And of course, they should have a security system in the whole pharmacy, in the whole hospital. The board of directors will introduce security system in all hospitals, so they can monitor all of these. And that way arrests can be made. But I want to conclude this here. There's a lot I can say about this. The other part is the board of directors, since they are going to have overseeing, they are going to be the ones that are going to inspect all health department, all board of health stuff. They are the ones that are going to go into every single pharmacy. And when they walk in, just like today, if I walk into any of our stores, the person in charge of that store, we call the PIC, in our food service area, has to have a certificate posted. This is something the health department is going to look for. They're going to look at the name of that certificate. You have it posted, yes. Who is this person? Is that you? No, it's not me. It's somebody else. No, we don't want that. That's not valid. We want the person that works here has a certificate. If not, you're closed. Health department closed them. And that way, every pharmacy that operates in the country will have a certified pharmacist in there. Otherwise, they cannot open. They cannot operate. Shut them down while all medicine is available at our own hospital. So I'm going to stop here. There's a lot I can say, but I'm going to stop here. There are things that can happen that will stop this from happening.
Yeah.
Thank you very much.
Thank you, sir. Yeah. So let's see Farmer's point, and then we can wrap it up. Farmer, what is your take on this? Farmer
is on board. I hope that he can hear us.
Farmer.
Yes, so I can hear you.
Okay. Yeah. Can you weigh on this so that we can wrap it up with this pharmacy issue?
Yeah, thank you so much. I wanted to ask Jaga whether is it legal for somebody can rent out his license to somebody else? That's what I'm not sure about.
Very illegal. Very illegal. Very
illegal.
Very illegal.
So the people are doing it in Gambia is illegal.
Very illegal.
And then the authorities are aware of this because they have people complaining about it.
I haven't heard of any arrest or any action taken against it. That is the problem. That's why I was saying that we are not serious. We have our institutions are not serious. This is very serious. This is about our
Absolutely. And then this issue of renting license, as you already quoted in India, this is where the problem all started, because India is just so uncontrolled. In fact, they I was looking online and they say about 50% of pharmacies operating in India, are all being on this rented thing,
Yeah, it is.
And then we have seen the same trend coming into Gambia, and because we have seen Indians in the pharmacy business in the Gambia, they are also coming in. And then if you look at the guidelines for licensing of premises, especially in the Gambia, on all of these things, you have to have that education. You have to be trained to become a pharmacist. You understand? And then once you're trained, you cannot just hand over that license to somebody else who is not trained, and then giving out medication to people, our citizens, without no full knowledge of, the medicine you are giving. Because sometimes you can go even complain of a flu, for example, and they start giving you a lot of, medications that are, some of them might be cough medicine, some of them might be antibiotic, some of them might be something different. Because they just give it to you based on maybe somebody's symptoms or the way somebody was treated using another medication. They just give it to you just like that. So it's just some. I think we have a Gambia. I think they have is it a board of pharmacy or board of whatever nursing? I think they need to regulate these things, the way licenses are being given out, and then monitor people. Because like you said, Jaga, once you rented out your license, you are not there to monitor that pharmacy, what they are doing. The medication coming in, you don't even know. How much they are selling in and out, you don't even know. So you just come at the end of the month, whatever they are paying you cash or they are transferring to your bank account, that's all you are after. But what they are doing is not of interest to you. And I think this is very illegal. And I think the Gambia police should be involved into this and investigate the matter and get the medical board or the board of pharmacies, whatever it is called in Gambia, get them involved and then know how many people are licensed in the entire country, and then check on them whether they are utilizing that license or not, or whether they are doing another profession altogether. We need to know all of this so that those pharmacies operating in our country, we know that they are all regularized and they need to apply for a license if they want to operate. As simple as that, because these are basic things that you cannot compromise, because the health of our citizens are very important. When you get sick and the doctor tell you that this is the medication you need to take, a wrong medication is illegal. I worked in the health sector sometime, in this country, here. For us, we are certified medical technicians, all right? But we are licensed under a registered nurse. So that registered nurse is the license, her license that we are utilizing as a technician, because we are not reached that level to be licensed, but we are operating under a registered nurse's license. but she monitor or she give us all the training every year annually. Your license, in fact, they give it our certified license is up to a year, sometimes 3 years, you know. But every 3 years, you know, before it comes, she gave us an update. We go in a mandatory training, and then they monitor us every time we do. Whether you're doing a medication right, you're doing the medication records right, you're giving the medication right. If you make any error, that's a disciplinary action, and then the person can remove you from, you know, from under our license, you know, and you can even lose your job for that. So that's got to be a proper, you know, system in the country to monitor all these licenses being issued out and who are they giving them out to. I mean, it's completely wrong. It's illegal, and they should be prosecuted because they're trying to kill us or kill our citizens. Yeah.
Yeah.
Thank you. And
That is why.
Thank you, Farmer.
Thank you, Famara. That is why, Famara, I always say that people don't understand what killed him. You understand? But the problem is like there are some people, there are certain things that they shouldn't take. You understand? Automatically, when it is in their body, it kills them. It stops their heart from working again. You understand? And most of them comes from our drugs. Fi Gambia rek nga dem nga dugg ci pharmacie nga ne ko jaay ma garab mu ne la ban garab nga ko nanga mu jëm mu génne ko jox la ko ne la am nii lii la moo jar, because they are not trained, they don't know, they are just doing it for business. It's just like you go at the shop to the shop at the corner and buy your bread or you buy your milk or anything you want to buy.
Yeah.
That's how our pharmacies work.
Yeah, Njaga, I just want to second what you just said about raw medication. It happens to me one time here, even to my wife. And
Exactly.
this is a sophisticated country, right? Medically.
Mhm.
And she was giving raw medication when she was pregnant. And then that medication, we went to the hospital and she was passing out a couple of times. And we had to, they had to go and look at that medication, do in research what had the medication done to somebody in the past before we diagnosed, before we knew that she took the wrong medication to be passing out like that, somebody pregnant. So I nearly sued the whole hospital for that nonsense. The first hospital that gave us that a night before. So imagine a sophisticated country like here, if that can happen here, having to give somebody in the Gambia any medicine somebody can think of can kill somebody. If they have a symptom of something, it can even make it worse and end up killing them. So that's why regulations are very important. That's why it's important that people take this seriously. If you don't know, I don't know. We don't know the cure for this.
Exactly.
But we don't have the medicine.
Exactly.
Let the pharmacists, let people's life being, accounted for by pharmacists giving raw medication, and let tests be done on people who passed away to make sure that they are not being wrongly medicated. Because if it can happen here once in a while, imagine Gambia where everybody's trying to sell anything without even looking at the real fit for it. So if we don't have the medical equipment, let's just stay with our herbs. At least those ones are at least I think my jamba katang or something that I know that I wouldn't get any harm on it.
Exactly.
But let's not come and give any kind of medicine to anyone just because we want to sell something. Yeah, gotta be definitely. No. Let's stop that nonsense. I mean, like let there be regulation, like you guys said. Let these pharmacists take let them get sued. Let them get these people working in the pharmacies. I see this list of doctors' names. Some of them I know them. I have dealt with them. When I went to Gambia, some of them when my brother's wife was sick. So I saw the list and I see some. I don't want to mention names, but if these people are doing this, they need to get sued. They need to somebody need to find out who has done wrong, and then get them sued. That way, they will take caution. Because here, even a hospital, they get sued, and that's why they are very critical about their doctors. They are very critical about which patient to treat. If they cannot treat a patient, they said we cannot do this. So I think we lack that in the Gambia. That's why we are losing a lot of people.
Exactly. And the other problem is when we talk about people receiving $100,000 of bribe. We talk about corruption. We talk about tax. Here in Europe, you will never receive that kind of money in your account, and you are not asked where that money comes from. You understand? That is the problem. You understand? How can you be receiving $100,000 every month and nobody's asking you where the money comes from? You understand? That is the problem. And secondly also, Gambia. Gambia, we are very, very, very unlucky. We are very unlucky because of not even the pharmacists are renting out license. Lots of 50% of Gambian businesses are operating illegally, and those operating illegally are not paying tax. And those tax will develop our country. This is the problem.
I think we're gonna have a special topic on tax.
Yeah, so it is always a problem when it comes to this kind of things. So the foundation is all about corruption. People always want more. You understand, because of the government and when it talks about some mentioned something, I forget. It's the last thing I'm gonna say. When it comes to our institutions, why can't we have the link between our hospitals and the pharmacies? You understand? And technology can do that easily. You understand? We have to have a link to avoid what you just said. You understand? You can consume. Do you know that there are some people that if they consume a drug that has vitamin C, it can kill them. Just vitamin C. And people say that everybody thinks that vitamin C is okay for everyone. No, it's not okay for everyone. You understand? I've seen somebody that when he consumes anything with that, it's gonna kill him completely. So that is the problem. So we have to have a link, as I've learned here, a link between the hospitals and the pharmacies. That if you go to a certain hospital and you are diagnosed and you are treated, that treatment will be sent to every data or every computer in around the country in any pharmacy. There is a link, and technology only can do that. When you go to a pharmacy, they will ask you of your name. What is your name? My name is Jagaju. Then the pharmacist will check his computer and he will tell you, okay, you were diagnosed or you were treated at this day, at this year, at this time, this and this and this. These are the drugs that you should take, and these are not the drugs that you should take. So no matter what drugs that you ask for, they will never give it to you. They will only give you what the doctor advised them to give it to you.
Okay. Yeah. So that kind of system is here. It's called margin of information. When it comes to medical, and then they get your authorization to merge your information so that if you have an accident or you are rushed into some place, that is not your hospital, you're gonna get your information will be pulled out. I think they introduced it here in US, and then people have sign off of it. Like the doctors will tell you that we're gonna make your information available to other thing in case you are in other part of the country and something happens. So this is very important because it brings your profile, your history of things that is that works for you, or what's your medical background and so forth. So it makes it easier to actually attend to you if you are unconscious or you are running into an accident or something happened that you are not immediately going to see your doctor. So those things are not even, I don't think those things we are even close in the Gambia. So that's why our life are very much.
Hey, let me tell you something. The reason why I am saying all this, Sawane, we have it. We have youths who have the talent and the brain. But you know what? After a few years later, you find them on the streets. This is the problem we are having in Gambia. We have youths with talent. I swear to God, I was working in the IT department. I've seen youths who are very, very, very intelligent, who can do crazy stuff. But honestly speaking, they are on the streets with no book.
Yeah, there's a lot of change we need. Yeah, I think we can wrap it up now, unless somebody has something to say. But
I just wanted to put a little about the topic.
Okay.
I mean,
go ahead,
we need these things like price controlling, food controlling, even the drugs, expiry dates controlling, things like that. I don't know whether we have it or we are not using it in our community. What I know that these things going on, I don't know much about the license. I can also criticize that. It should not be that everybody should come and just get a license like that. So all in all, it's all under corruption, and corruption is dangerous because these people having this license without knowing anything about pharmaceutical things like me, and want to sell something. So that is also dangerous. These people should be arrested. They should not even be allowed to sell anything because it's a drug and it's going to kill. It's the same thing. When they hold our youths, when they get them with just, I don't know, jama, I don't know, marijuana, it's a punishment. That is criminal. But when foreigners come and push us dangerous drugs, that is the problem I have with Gambians. They cannot always differentiate, you know, who is the criminal and who is dangerous to the society. You know, if I have a foreigner who just come and get a license, he himself don't know anything about pharmacy, you know, just that he bribed the whole world. You give him the license, and he's employing also his own people who don't even know anything about it, maybe producing this drug themselves, because we know that in West Africa, we used to see the pictures every now and then in the coast that people are trying to make their own drugs, packing it. And sometimes the police will come and pack them. You know, we know that. So if you are in the Gambia and happen to give such people license to sell drugs, that means you are killing your people directly. And what they are doing is more dangerous than even the youths they're holding with Jamba. So that means the police don't even also know where to focus on. Where is the criminality? You understand? It's not that I'm supporting the youth or so, but I'm just telling you the caliber, what is happening, things that are more dangerous in the Gambia, where we just laugh and tell those people, yes, sir. That means we are a little bit confused. We cannot make the difference between what is the criminal and who is not the criminal. That's the same thing. The people who are corrupt, pushing these youths to do certain things because of corruption, they happen to enter in such things. These people are the criminals, but Gambians don't know that. They'll point the finger to the small people because the others are having a big building, a big car, and nice clothes. They say, yes, sir. You understand? So, I mean, I once saw a video about the thing we're talking here. There was a lady went to a shop, and this man, you know, these Mauritanian shops, was selling a medicine to the woman. And the woman was very angry, you know, trying to make a big discussion there. I saw this film that is showing you because the woman was just angry that these people sell these medicines. They don't even know learn it, which is dangerous for the public. You know, as Nyaga said, many people just die. They don't die because of disease, but they die because they took the wrong medication, which there is no control. I think that is for me the fear and where I have more worries. You know, and that's all under corruption. You know, so the question is, where are we going to stop this? Where does it start? Or we take Sam's model. You know, we try to force certain laws, but we are not good in controlling whether this law functions or not. That's also dangerous. I'm going to stop there. I think for me that's all I wanted to say about this
Thank you,
topic.
Alice. Thank you, Alice. Sam, you can complete it and we can call it a day. Thank you, guys.
Yeah, you know, this is a very critical situation, and like I said in my proposal, really what I included in there will all address all of this. And the question is, will the government take it and implement it, but then enforce it to make sure it works? You know, if not, like I said, you know, anything I propose, I always say, if this government I'm gonna stop here, and so we can wrap this up. But it all comes to leadership. They can make the right decisions for us. Thank you.
That's very good.
Thank you.
Thank you very much for the
Yeah, thank
advice.
you, guys. Yeah, thank you so much for this wonderful debate here today. I think our audience really enjoyed. There's a lot of comments, and I think the press secretary was even there also, Amin Bojang, commenting on our work. So I guess, this information would definitely be shared.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Okay, guys.
All right. Thank you, guys.
For all
Thank you.
Jaga.
Yep.
Take care. America.
Alice, Sam Jaga, Bawara. Take care, guys.